So here's the old hillbilly again out in his shop, and I have to admit I remade the sides for the briefcase, and here's why. I don't know if you can see that or not. The joints weren't good, and I tried filling them and I made a mess, and so I remade them. And if you look over here next to my coffee cup, you'll note that I remade them. And oh, goodness sakes, my fingers to work here. So there they are again. They look much better this time. Still need to be sanded down, and I've got them glued together. I've got either the top or the bottom, I'm not sure which, glued on already. I thought, and I know if anybody ever comments on one of my videos, that the comment has to be a better way to sand these boards down. And it's true, you know. I have a lovely old belt sander, but guess what? The belt that drives the belt busted, and here I am left with a quandary. I can either take this piece with me when I go up to visit my brother on the weekend. He has a surface planer, and he seems to think that this would fit through it, and it would probably do a lovely job. But I'm kind of antsy to get this thing glued together, and hey, I can say that it's handmade. So here we go with some sanding. And presto, through the magic of video, there it is, all smoothed up, well, as smooth as I'm going to make it, and no more burn marks, as you may have noticed. Anyway, so now all I'm going to do is glue that to this, which is already all glued up, as you can see. It's not real pretty just yet. See, there's still burn marks there. I've got to sand that all up and then cut it open. So I'm going to glue this up, and next I will show you. Okay, so it's an awkward process for me because I'm not fancy like some, and I got no money to buy clamps. But the clamps I have got, I made good use of. I used 4 5-inch C clamps, as you can see. 1 pipe clamp, 1 old wooden clamp, and these 2 quick clamps that I have. And there it is, it's glued up, the glue's squeezing out. It seems like it'll probably be a good fit. I'll have to clean it all up anyway, so anyway, like I said, next step, well, maybe some more sanding before I cut it apart. It's probably easier to sand before I cut it apart. Okay, so I've got it all glued up, and I don't know if you can see, I'm standing close to the stove because it's cold out here, and I've got my feet in a big mess underneath, but I'm sanding down the edges. And I forgot to turn the camera on, so what I'm doing is the last of 4 sides, and well, we may have to cut some out, but I'm gonna sand it up. as we go here, you'll notice the burn marks that I mentioned, being a light sand out. It's fairly aggressive paper, but it's almost worn out, and it still will take it out fairly quickly, as you'll see. So, as you can see, I rounded the edges over, and if you look closely, you can see I've got some tiny little gaps that I'm going to try to fill. I'm going to show you a trick to get wood filler that's the right color when no such thing exists. And here's a little bit of where there was some bark, and I didn't get it cut quite perfectly. But you know what? That's all part of being a handcrafted wood piece. So there's the basic box. Oh, I've got to round over that edge yet. Well, I'll just do that. I haven't rounded that one yet either. So. Alright, so I'm going to have to go over it again with some finer paper too, just to kind of smooth things up. And then I got to find out from my buddy whether he wants it stained dark or whether he wants me to just put some nice natural clear Varathane on it. Anyway, it'll be his choice, not mine. So I'm going to get my stuff and show you how I mix up some of my own wood filler. Okay, so here we have the ingredients, and you're saying, what ingredients? Well, I'll show you. This is a little piece of plastic that I'm going to use to make it in. This thing collects sawdust, not as much as I'd like to have seen, but that's alright. I'm going to dump that. That's what I collected when I sanded this. So it's cherry sawdust, and it just happens also to be exactly the right color. So now, what we've got here is just some regular old carpenter's glue. A little stick to mix with. Put the lid back on it. Probably need more, but we'll put the lid back on it anyway. The trick with this is you got to get it to the consistency that you're happy with, and we'll go into the cracks and not just lay on top. Take on the color and characteristic of the wood you're trying to fill. Probably would have been better with white glue because it dries more clear, but the yellow glue will have to do for now. And it's starting to come here. Still have a consistency that might be a little on the dry side. afraid I'm going to have to get my fingers into it. Anyway, let's put some of this stuff elsewhere. Bring this back. There's a spot there I'd like to fill up a little bit. Couple little spots there, little spot there. Hopefully it doesn't dry up before I get it all done. I can hang the spots over that I'm working on. Looky there. Look at there. It'll be harder than the top of the devil's head when it dries up. So there you have it, a hillbilly version of making your own wood filler that's the right color for the work. And look, it just peels off when it starts to dry up. And when it all dries up, we'll come back and see what it looked like. Okay, well, I'm back again. I'm going to try. I got some 220 grit sandpaper on here, so it's a little bit smoother. Won't make quite as rough a cut, but it won't cut as fast either. So here, I'm going to see what it looks like, how my filler job worked. Some of it's being a little more bullheaded than others. Alright, that hand doesn't work anymore. Let's try this one. Looking pretty nice. I can't tell you how much I wish my belt sander was still working. And how much I wish it was summertime still instead of coming on winter. A little bit of help for the fire. Turns out it needed quite a bit of help. I think I'm going to try a little bit more aggressive paper too. And I believe the rest of it needs some fine-tuning too. Okay, so as I mentioned, here's a couple of spots that aren't perfect. This is going to be the bottom side, I think, because there's a crack right here, and this piece is sunken in just a little bit, and my filler didn't really do a very nice job there. So I think what I'm going to do is use this side for the bottom side of the box. The other joints don't look too bad though. They're not professional by anybody's stretch of an imagination. But they're going to be pretty just the same. All the way around to the other side of the box. A lot of those sand marks will come out when I use a bit finer paper on it, and they tend not to look the same when you get some finish on there. And of course there's lots of dust on it too right now. And there you have it. Next trick is cutting the box open to make it into a usable box. Then we'll have to find some hardware. Or maybe call him. Anyway, old hillbilly out.